Nintendo Switch, this one could be a bit of a nightmare. So let me switch you over to scope. As I understand it, this one is a prior repair attempt by another technician in Colorado Springs. And yeah, this could be a complete nightmare job. It's getting a little bit late at night right now, 10:04 p.m., but I'm going to open this up and take a look at it. I may not be able to do much about it until in the morning, but let's take a look and see. I will come back once I get it open enough to take a look. Okay, we have it out of the housing enough to take a look. And I'm going to tell you it doesn't, I can pretty much tell you exactly what they did. Let's switch over to microscope. So I believe they changed this in the housing. So that would be my first question is, why did you change it in the housing? That's why there's a bunch of melted plastic. Most of these pins are not connected. So far, it's not as bad as I thought it could be, but we haven't seen under it yet. So I can't really draw too many conclusions. The real reveal will be when we get this port off. Okay, we're back. And we're looking at the underside of the port. And as you can see, we have a missing filter. Things will not work well without that filter, so we're going to have to replace that too. This port looks like it was barbecued. I don't know how he melted it there and managed to melt. If he did it in the case, I mean, this is a bundle of mysteries to me. I don't see how the case got all melted like that. If he didn't do it in the case, I want to look over this board and make sure that I don't see anything else missing or otherwise dorked. Looking there. Pretty sure they did not remove it from the housing, but still a good thing to look at. I don't know if I can see in there. Everything's fine. Anyway, right now we know we need to remove the port and get a gander at what's going on under there, and we know we need to replace that filter. For that procedure, we'll throw up these temps, expected temperatures for this procedure. Okay, and for that we will do what we always do. We will flood with low melt and go from there. Okay, appears to be a good pull. But that doesn't mean they didn't do damage with their original change. So let's flip it over and have a look. Surprisingly, I don't see any damage. Well, that's actually pretty good. That's pretty exciting. That's good news. All right. Let's flip the board over, clear our bridge. These two pins are bridged together there. Very good. And now we can do some testing. Connect our meter. Alright. We'll start down here by the M92T36. And we're going to start with the capacitor for Type 3 USB on the other side of the board. Okay, seems alright. Now we're going to check the signal lines going to M92T36. As always, if there's a capacitor with two lines going to the chip, one side will always be ground. Okay, that is shorted. So we definitely have an M92T36 issue. That is shorted. That could have been their original issue. One side is always going to be ground on that one. Let's hope the CPU cap is not shorted. It is not. Small miracles. Okay. Filter seems okay. We'll check around the MOSFETs. Seems alright there. Let's check our fuse. Fuse is okay. Let's check our test pads. We're probably going to get some shorted test pads. That one should be ground. Yep. So that one's shorted. That's because of M92T36. That one should be to ground. Okay, let's check around our BQ24193. We're just going to check signal side on these. Very good. Everything's okay there. We're going to flip it over. Take a look at our Type 3 USB. We'll check the existing filters. We want continuity straight through, not side to side. Okay, let's find ourselves a ground and test our Type 3 USB capacitor. On this side we do not want shorted to ground. I don't know if you can see that at all. Okay, everything seems okay there other than a missing filter, which we're going to deal with before we deal with anything else. Have a little lidded. Mix it in on the beds. And grab a filter and we'll put it on. Okay, I apologize for being a little zoomed in there, but as you can see I had to use one of my small filters because none of my switch donors actually have these filters on them. That was quite a surprise, and all the filters I have ordered for the switch are not this type of filter. So I'm hoping that's going to work. We'll deal with that problem if it continues to be a problem later. Anyway, so our next issue is the M92T36. We're going to need to pull it and test, and then go from there. Okay, same orientation, we'll test again. Okay, no more short. Okay, no more shorts. Very good. So we'll put on a new M92T36. I think I will try and mix in a little bit of leaded here. I'm doing a full cleanup job, but we'll mix in a little bit and go from there. Not the smoothest M92T36 I've ever done. Sure I'm getting good connection here. Let me find a different ground plane. Just feels like I was getting intermittent connection there. Okay, very good. All right. Next issue will be the port. We'll clean up, put a new port on, and test from there. Okay, I cleaned it up more thoroughly once I I've gotten through the testing phase here. I do want to perform a test. It's good enough for a test right now. So let's pull all of our stuff back up. Let's set our voltage back to 5 volt. On the other end of our squid. Turn her on. And let's see what kind of behavior we get. Okay, that looks relatively normal. Switch around. Make sure we get the same behavior on both sides. Does not appear we're getting the same behavior on both sides. All right, grab a battery. Can be a little fussy with the PSU sometimes. You definitely want to make sure we're getting correct behavior. I'm getting nothing on this side. That strains the batteries in. Okay. Yeah, I am getting nothing on this side. Let's check our M92 T36 placements. We did have a little issue getting it placed down. Reasonably aligned. And it's just a little off on this side, but it's not catastrophically. Okay. Let's turn on channel 2 and plug our battery squid. Try and activate with our OEM charger. Nothing. I'll make sure that's on. Doesn't help if it's not on. That is not normal voltage. Okay, it's going up now. It's still not normal draw though. Turn that off. Turn it back on again. Try the other side. Yeah. Could be one of two things. It could be the port, which will reflow real quick. Or it could be M92 T36 issue. We'll try the port first because I know this is a, I don't know if you noticed, but this is a pulled port. I don't currently have any new ones. This was one of my pulls though, so I have some faith that it's fine, but I'll go ahead and reflow it anyway, just to make sure. All right, let's try again. Absolutely nothing. Okay, that is just odd behavior. I'm going to reflow this in my T36 again because it's not making sense. Alright, let's try again. Okay. Okay, now we're getting some action on both sides. Alright, let's try our battery squid. Channel 2. We're going to activate with our OEM. See if we're getting something that resembles normal behavior. Okay, it's steadily going up. I feel like it should be higher, but it's worth a test now, at least. Okay, let's fire it down. It looked like it went higher there just at the end. So, alright, I am going to clean this up off screen with the air compressor. And then I'll be back once I have it assembled enough to perform a test. Okay, we are together enough to perform a test with my known good battery. Sure, we're on. Alright, let's see what happens. Full battery symbol. Oh. Okay, and it appears we have touch and everything. Okay, I'm going to flip it. Why are we getting nothing? Seems to be being fussy. Let's try with the OEM. We're not getting a charging indication. Could still have some sort of problem. And they appear to have some sort of problem still. Turn it off again. Try again. Yeah, what is going on? Switch you over to the microscope. Trying to see what the heck is going on here. It's pretty dirty in there. Clean it up. Apparently I did not get enough without the air compressor. Alright, let's try again. Still nothing. What in the heck is going on here? Try with their battery. Okay, now it's recognizing with their battery. Okay, flip it around. And it's recognizing with their battery. Okay, it seems to be not liking my battery for some reason. Okay. Strange. Anyway, so it's not liking my battery for some reason, but it's recognizing with theirs. So what we'll do is we'll reassemble it enough to let it charge on its own battery so we can perform dock tests and stuff like that. It could be that filter I put on there, I don't know, that's messing with things, but we'll see. Okay, so I powered up their battery enough to boot it up, but it's still giving me issues. I'm starting to think the filter that I put in is what's causing the problems. So here it will boot up. When it resets, it'll fast charge here, but then it stops recognizing the battery. Or at least it's stopped recognizing the fact that it's, oh no, it's charging now. Okay, it was not doing that earlier, I don't think. Okay, still acting a bit strange though. I'm thinking that filter is causing a problem. Okay, well it's charging now, so I'm going to let it charge for a little while longer. I was about to turn it in for the night and look at it again in the morning, but we'll give it a little longer and then see what happens. It is acting weird, so it's like when I shut it down after I booted up before, it wouldn't power back on with the charger. So let me turn it off again. Okay. Well, now it's trying to behave. Okay, so I don't know why it wasn't behaving before, so but I'm going to keep messing with it, and I'll probably have to get back to it in the morning because it is about midnight here. So we'll come back in the morning. Okay, it's the next morning, and let me go over a few things that I've done because Windows decided that 10 million updates needed to happen right now. So, and when I'm ready to work, I'm ready to work. So I did a little bit of work. I touched up the M92T36. That did cause some, we were still getting the intermittent charging behavior. It charged up, you know, to like 37%, but when I tried to reboot it, it would lose the charger. So I touched up the M92T36. We ended up with it giving me an M92T36 error, the 001 error. So we're probably going to end up having to replace the M92T36. I did go ahead and flip over and put a bit in one of the bigger filters on the Pi 3 USBs. Again, sorry I didn't catch it on camera, but like I said, 10 million updates, and when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. So I've tested it. It's getting continuity through it and everything, so I put the big filter on there just in case it was causing a problem. But I think what the problem actually is this N92 T36 is faulty. Even though we use a new chip, it happens. You probably get maybe one out of every lot at least that's bad, assuming you have a good source. Sometimes you just don't have a good source. So what we're going to do now is replace the N92 T36 again and put another one on. As I'm running dreadfully low on these, I really didn't need it to be a bad one, but it is what it is. Things happen. Sometimes you struggle getting it on, and sometimes it goes perfectly in one go, just like that. I'm going to rapid cool here. Alright. Let's perform a little bit of a test. Again, see if we get behavior that we're expecting. That's much higher than I expect. It'll still be a bit warm. Okay, what in the heck is going on here? So, microgrids or anything there? What in the heck? Okay, this is starting to get to be BS. Starting to get to be a BS rabbit hole here. Too low prior repair attempts. You just don't know what's screwed up. What in the hell is killing these M92s? This is not making any sense. I end up with the last two in my batch being bad. I think I only have one more. What's on there? Becoming a bit agitating. I'm 100% certain the dang filter ain't causing that. Sure there's no crosstalk here on my pads. That's me hitting the meter probe. Alright, try my last 92 here. Alright, let's click one more time so we don't have any micro bridges or anything of that nature. So everything looks connected. Not perfectly lined, but it is connected. Try again. Okay, that looks somewhat normal. Okay, that looks relatively normal. Alright, I'm going to clean it up off camera. We'll put it back in the housing and test again. Okay, we're put back together enough to do some testing. Make sure we're not getting the intermittent charging issue again. Their battery has about 37% charge now, so we don't need to use mine. Okay. Now what would happen is it would show the 0.47, then reset, then power back up, and then it wouldn't fast charge. So it looks like we've got fast charging again. We're not getting an error. Flip it around. So all that might have been a couple of faulty M92 T36s causing us a problem. Contact your congressman about right to repair. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to plug it back in. I'm going to power it down. I was getting intermittent charging when I attempted to do this, even when it was charging. Okay, and power it back up on the charger. And it's picking up charging again. If you're watching along with me, it's channel 1 there, down there. Okay, it appears to be functioning correctly now. So I think that was the case. Two faulty M92 T36s. It's really hard to get a source with a good source for those chips because you can't find them through Mouser, DigiKey, or anything like that. So, all right, I'm going to power it down. Still fast charging. Very good. All right. Power down. I'm going to reassemble it entirely. Then we'll perform some more tests with Joy-Cons. And I do need to do a dock test because we're using a filter that is not exactly meant for this version of the board. So we'll see if that causes us any issues. Okay, we're back enough to perform some testing. We're together enough to do some testing anyway. I didn't fully assemble it or put all the screws in because if we still have a problem, I need to know. So far, so good. Okay, back to fast charging. That's good news. All right. Okay, let's check our Joy-Cons, make sure everything is happy. Okay, I'm seeing the right Joy-Con, but I'm not seeing the left one. Okay, let me disassemble again and make sure I got that cable plugged in right, and we'll be back. Okay, I think I found the issue with not reading the Joy-Con. It looks like this Joy-Con rail is extremely dirty, so I'm going to clean that out and then come back and test again. It's intermittently picking it up, so the cable is plugged in properly. So we will clean this up and see if we can get this thing to read normally. Okay, we're back. We've cleaned up the Joy-Cons. That one's reading just fine now. And that one's reading just, both of them were pretty bad. This one was completely caked in crap, so no wonder it wasn't reading. Good news is it's not a charging circuit issue. We are charging. Let's go through our normal testing. Sure, we're picking up our networks. And we are. Good. Okay, next issue is I want to put it on the dock and make sure we're docking with that abnormally sized filter in place. That's the main concern I have with that. So I'm going to sit here. I'm going to reassemble it enough to. I'm going to completely reassemble it, and then I'm going to set up the dock, and then we'll do a dock test. Okay, and as you can see, we are docking, which is awesome news, even with the oversized filter. That's what I was really worried about with that. So that is awesome news, which means we're finally done with this very annoying repair. Okay, in summary, we had a prior repair attempt on a port on the Nintendo Switch. It looks to me like they attempted to change it, or did. Yeah, attempted to change it in the housing. That's caused pretty severe damage to the housing. So we had to pull the port, change the port. Unfortunately, I don't currently have any new ports, so I had to use one of my pulls. But I'm pretty confident in my pulls that I was able to pull those without damage. So it's working fine. So it was good. But we did have some complications. We had a situation where it was doing intermittent charging. It would charge for a while, but if you reboot it or something, it would completely lose the ability to charge or even recognize a charger. I had one other thing we did notice when we were taking off the port, that they knocked off a filter around the Pi 3 USB. I did not have any filters in that form factor or size, Uh, so that was a different revision board than I have parts for, or even donor parts for. So we tried a little filter. I suspected some of the odd behavior was from that. It may not have been. It probably was not. But I went ahead and switched in a bigger filter, and it seems to be fine, and it's working fine. Continuity through, it's docking. So yeah, you can do that if you need to. But we did have a problem where we had multiple faulty N92 T36s that we had ordered. Two of them were faulty, and that trolled us for a while. Couldn't really figure out what was going on. But once we eliminated the filter as a problem, it pretty much came down to the N92 T36 being a problem. We also got an error code on the I think it was the first new one we put on. We got an error code on that one. Then the second one we put on just didn't work at all. And so I used a pull that I had from an earlier job that I suspected the N92 T36 was fine. It turned out to be another problem on that switch. So I just kept that chip and I put that one on. It seems to be good to go. It's charging fine. Then we had ended up with a problem with the Joy-Cons. There was just stuff caked all inside the Joy-Con connector area. I cleaned all that out. It's syncing up fine. It's recognizing Joy-Cons fine now. Charging them fine. So finally, we are done with this repair. Unfortunately, the housing stuff I can't do anything about. That's, you know, they should get a hold of whatever tech did that and make them pay for it. That would be my suggestion. I don't have any housings and I don't do LCDs, so anyway, at least at this point. Anyway, that's it for this repair. If you have any questions about the equipment I used in this repair, take a look in the description below. They're all linked down there. Do me a favor and hit the like button on your way out. It really helps the channel. And if you want to see more videos like it, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And you'll know when I post videos, which is usually about twice a week. If you have any questions about this repair or anything about the equipment or whatever, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them or direct you somewhere that I think can answer the question. And that's really all I had to ask of you. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate the channel support, and we'll see you next time.